So, as promised, we need to have a few discussion questions, right, to think about the way that virtue ethics affects us. So, what I'd like to do is I'd like to go back to an earlier question, one that we actually had on the midterm. This midterm question, right, involved two people that knew each other sort of through class. One of them is lying to a significant other about who he is spending time with. And his desire is for this other person that he lives close to, right, to sort of cover for him, right? We looked at this in terms of a couple of different ethical systems, right? If you were of a Kantian perspective, then you would know that this other person cannot lie, right? Should not be lying to anybody, and so will probably tell the truth, out the boyfriend or significant other, and probably cause a lot of tension. Utilitarians might have looked at this situation and said, well, it depends. If I lie, maybe I feel bad about it, but the two of these people, right, will feel very happy. Neither one will have the secret exposed either to them or about them, and it may allow them to continue living happily for a while, right? We may look at ethical egoism and say as well, you know what would make me feel great? Seeing this person go down because they're a scumbag for cheating. And so I want to see them, right, suffer, and it's okay. I'm going to feel fine even if they're, not happy with me, because this is really, it would make me feel sad if I lied about this thing, right? What would virtue ethics do in this particular situation? It's a complicated question because we again have to think about what virtues might this other person have cultivated. The person who is lying, right, we take them out of the equation, right? We are not concerned about what they believe or how they feel. We know what they have done. So it is up to us now to think about, right, what this other person, faced with a question about truth or untruth or lack of revelation of truth, right, what would they now do? What kinds of ethics would you need to cultivate in order to be able to determine this? Well, one, we might think of the truth and honesty. Your ethic might be balanced between not telling the truth at all, which would feel like a lack of honesty, or just simply blabbing everything out right away without any regard for anybody's feelings, right? It might be right there in the middle saying, well, when I think about the truth, what do I do with it? And we might need to couple that with another virtue. Maybe this virtue of empathy. Maybe a virtue of compassion. Maybe a virtue of bravery, right? So what would that look like? If you can think of sort of a scenario, think through how a person might react to this. So that's question number one that I would like you to think about. There will be a discussion group, right? And you'll be asked to sort of put your response to that in the discussion post as well. Your second discussion post answer is going to be the following. Do you consider yourself to be a virtuous person? Do you think that you have any virtues that you have cultivated over the years that you are working to continue cultivating? Something that, right, according to the very definition of the book that we've looked at, right, would be a stable disposition that you might have. Do you have any of those golden means in your life? Are there, and this would sort of be the second part of this question, are there any virtues that you would still like to cultivate? Now, remember that we looked at a lot of different things, like virtue, that we thought about fairness, benevolence, honesty, loyalty, conscientiousness, courage, right, that we sort of have a lot of these things in the chapter itself. Are there any of those or any other things that you would consider to be virtues for you, that you want to cultivate that you want to continue to build on, or that you feel you are currently in the middle of trying to find that golden mean in? So those are our two questions that I'd like you to think about for this week. Thursday, of course, we'll be back in the classroom, and we will be looking at Nicomachean Ethics together. It is a little bit of a longer reading, but I'd certainly like you to read this because I think, again, it will also point us towards some things that we might not necessarily consider virtues, but that we see in the same light. Skill sets that we are building, maybe, that we might also consider to be virtues, right? That Aristotle certainly considered to be virtues. So that's what we're going to be looking at on Thursday. And there we go. I look forward to seeing you back in class.